Aydlett for your work week weather forecast. Good morning, Landon.
Hey, good morning. How are
Good
y'all
morning.
doing today?
We're doing all right. You?
Uh, it's been an interesting Monday so far, and I think I might be having some communications issues. So if I bump up, don't worry. But I woke up at 1:30 this morning with allergies and stuff, so it was a little bit earlier than I expected. And then I started checking my emails before I came into the office, and I got an email that the office coffee maker had broke. And I'm like, that's perfect for Monday. So I come
Allergies and
into
no
work
coffee.
early.
Oh, gosh.
It was a bad mix-up. And then I come into work. I've been trying to get into my computer for the last hour, and I cannot access my computer system. So I have no slides available for this morning's
Okay.
weather outlook. But I do have my weather computer.
Okay.
Speaking of the devil, just as y'all were going on the air, my computer came up. So we're good to go. So I can show you some information and stuff over there. But minus the slides that I usually send to Jason before our broadcast, I won't have those, but I do have a weather forecast.
Okay.
And if you remember last week, we were talking about it's going to be a little bit wetter and rainier last week. Well, it definitely panned out that it was a much wetter week, and that helped alleviate some of our developing drought concerns and our developing wildfire danger. We were at a very high extreme wildfire risk. That has taken a little bit of a tumble because of all the rains we had last week. However, as I switch around, it's going to be a dry week ahead. So this is going to be more of the same of what we've seen the last several months. So we're going to zoom in right over Guam, and it's not much of anything. You see there's a little bit of white puffs moving in from our east to the west. Those are the low-level clouds coming in with the trade winds. And they might drop about 2 or 3 minutes of a light to moderate shower and then move right on off, and it's going to dry up and clear out. The stuff moving in from the west toward the east, that's upper level cirrus moving in overhead. No showers associated with those. So that's going to be the theme for the week, dry. And most of the showers that are in the region, they are keeping well to the south near Yap and Plow. That's another little bit of a tropical disturbance, but nothing too exciting down there. Those showers and thunderstorms, that's going to keep off to our southwest, passing over Yap and Plow in the coming days. Abundant showers for them, especially across eastern Yap State, Walleye Islands down there, and then on towards Chuuk and Pohnpei. The ITCZ has been a little bit active, coming and going the last several weeks, keeping rainfall abundant enough to meet their water needs across the main islands. But of course, the northern islands, that's where they've been having some of the developing drought problems. This is our water vapor imagery showing the moisture content in the atmosphere over the region. And of course, the abundant tropical moisture that's across Yap State and Palau. The yellow's very dry for us. And so that's going to be the theme for the week again. Not much change in the week ahead. I will go show you the buoys right quick. This is at the Retidian buoy. The seas are going to be flatlining just a little bit. We're right about 6 to 8 foot combined seas on the open waters right now. That's going to drop a little bit today and to around 4 to 6 feet by tonight and Tuesday. That's going to remain the case for the week ahead. And then we get a little bump up in the trade winds around midweek as the trade winds surge just a little bit, but we're free of any hazards. We're free of advisories at the moment, and I suspect that will continue for the week ahead. So if you're following our radar, we've had radar problems for the last, since February 2nd. That radar, we have a team coming in from Oklahoma City. They've been on island for a while, and they are working on the radar, installing new pieces. And I actually got to visit the radar site on Friday, and it was actually up in the dome. So if you ever go by the Wendy's in Barragata and you see that big, looks like a golf ball on a tall tee way off in the distance, that's our Doppler radar. That's owned by the Anderson Air Force Base, and we're the primary users for that. We have a team over there. They've been working on that all of last week, and they just about have repairs complete. So as I understand it, it's spinning, but it's just got some remaining communications errors that they have to resolve. So hopefully in the next day or two, we'll have the radar up and running again. But this week, it's going to be dry, so we're not going to be looking at much regardless whether we have the radar or not. But once we get that radar operational, we'll be all hands on deck. And go to our webpage, weather.gov/gum. Some of our guys, they're resetting our homepage. So it's going to have a different look and feel to it.
Nice.
And hopefully a little bit more friendlier ease of access. So we'll be making minor changes there to our webpage. Hopefully the radar will be up and running, and a dry week ahead, free of advisories. So go out there, have fun, and be safe.
Yeah, Landon, I got a couple questions for you. First question is, since you mentioned, the domes and everything, everybody always asks about the golf ball. I'm sure you get this a million times, but are those the same kind of geodesic orbs, I guess, that you see like at Epcot Center? And for people that don't know about it, like exactly what do they do? You said it's like radar, but it's like 360-degree radar, so it's just bouncing sound off of all over the place. Oh, that would be sonar.
Yeah, so I believe it's a fiberglass shell. Don't quote me, because I'm not sure about the mechanics of it, but I believe it's a fiberglass shell, and inside of it you have a dish, almost like a satellite dish. So I'm going to turn my camera around right quick and stick you out the window. So if you see our satellite dish right out there, that's what it looks like on the inside. So we have a couple of domes in our backyard for different purposes, but inside that dome is basically a dish. And so our Doppler radar, that spins around in a 360-degree, always in motion, always radiating, sending those electromagnetic pulses, and anything it hits outside, hydrometeors, that's what we call raindrops, it'll reflect back and give us all this data that's available from those reflections. And so I took a lot of video last Friday when I went into the radar. And so probably next week, once I finish editing it together, I'll post it to our Facebook page so everybody can have a good look at what exactly is inside that radar.
Man, if you share that video with us, we'd love to run it here on the show and everything. That's fascinating.
Yeah, definitely. If you look ahead, March 23rd, that is World Meteorological Day. And so I'm trying to figure out how we want to commemorate that day. So if you have any ideas, reach out to me, send me a message. But I definitely want to do something for World Meteorological Day on March 23rd. And
Sure.
I think one of the things will be pinpointing some information about some of our tools, some of our hardware that we use to forecast on a daily basis, including the radar.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, question number 2 for you, right? When you came on a couple weeks ago, you were saying that there was that internship opportunity at the NWS and everything for aspiring young minds who want to figure out, the field of weather forecasting and, work alongside. How has the uptick been? And is that opportunity still available for if people like haven't gotten their applications yet?
Yeah, the deadline has already passed. The deadline was on February 26th. I do not have an exact number of applicants, but I will say the interest level in internships for our office has increased over the last several years. I know when there were forecaster openings here, we would get maybe 2 or 3 applicants. That has since multiplied considerably in recent years. So as more people are learning about Guam, finding out about the opportunities over here, that's been increasing. I know some more of the high profile positions in the Weather Service, like the National Hurricane Center, there was an opening for a forecaster position a number of years ago, and I think they had several hundred applications for that one job.
Wow. Yeah, very cool. So hopefully we, I would really say that probably the work that you and your brother and your team over there have really given people something to think about as far as like, very fulfilling and rewarding career choices and say like, hey, these guys make weather seem like it's really, really cool. They're super into it. They're totally geeked out every time they come on the link, which is a good thing.
Well, we try to do that because a lot of times the day-to-day is pretty dry and boring. It gets mundane, but I really like to spice it up, and it's really what you make it. And my focus and interest has always been to take what we do and put it out to the community. I want people to know who the Weather Service is, where we are, what we do, and that we're here for the community. And so I really want us to be more integral to the school programs, whether it's elementary, middle, and high school, or the colleges. So we always like to have tours and virtual visits. Hopefully starting next week, we can start having some small tours as we continue our phasing with the COVID posturing here in the Weather Service. So more to come on that, but definitely I really like to have that link to the community so people know who we are, because when I grew up, the only thing I knew of the Weather Service was that little crawler across the TV screen. The National Weather Service in Wakefield, Virginia has issued a severe thunderstorm warning. I was like, well, who's the Weather Service? Are they people? Is it a computer? What is it? And so I want people to know who we are and that they can have access to us and hopefully inspire young minds to go into math and science.
See, there you go. And probably the number one trait you can have, regardless of, if you think you're ready or not, just be endlessly curious.
Yes, always ask questions, be curious, get out there, get out of your shell and learn.
There you go.
Thank you, Landon.
Yeah, good to see you as always. But hey, and if you got that video for next Monday and everything like that, shoot it over to me. We'll set that up because that's super cool. I've always wanted to see the inside of those.
It's big. That's all I'll say.
Well, let me ask you before we let you go. Have you, I mentioned Epcot Center earlier, and that's like the world famous geodesic orb, right? I mean, I think that is the world's biggest. But have you ever been to Epcot and stood underneath that thing? Because I have, and it really makes you aware of just how tiny you are as a speck on this earth when you stand underneath that thing.
I think it was July 1992 was the only time I've ever been in the Epcot Center. That was on the monorail as we were going through it on the way to Disney World. So I never stopped and actually looked up at the top and was like, wow, that's big. So maybe this summer I'll get down there.
Yeah, Spaceship Earth as it's known, Chris.
There you
really,
go.
Really cool.
I'm just going to Google geodesic during the commercial break. Thank you, Landon.
Take care, my friend. Always good to have you on.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Okay. That's like a $5 word, Jay.
Yeah, well, yeah. Use that in Words with Friends next time you do that. You'll cash in for that one. Yeah. No, but I mean, you know what I'm talking, like the big Epcot thing, right? They say it's like, that's where God tees off, like in Orlando.
So it's a hemispherical thin shell structure based on a geodesic polyhedron.
There you go.
Just Google images and you'll see got the little tiles or whatever.
Yeah,
on it.
But I mean, I was very, very fortunate because my family, we took a trip there, and and I mean, you can see it from maybe several hundred miles away. I mean, it's huge. But then when you're actually there and you stand underneath it, and I think it's on like a because it is this big circle and it's mounted like on three struts, and it's you stand underneath that thing and you're like, man, just the size of it, it's like it is massive.
Thank you, Jay.
Yeah.
If you guys are ever in where is it?
Orlando.
There you go. Check out the geodesic dome there.
It's like the first time you go to like the Lattie of Freedom over like in Adelup, and you stand in there. It's like, wow, man, this is a big Lattie stone.
Yeah, good comparison. You're right. 6:45.
We localize things here on the show.
We're gonna take a break and regroup and come back with more of the link. Which